Hey, y'all, thank y'all for letting me rest last week. Amen. I started feeling a little better, but I was like, you know what? I deserve a day off. Amen. I preached sick New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I think it was about time I took a break. Amen. 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 And you all can pray for me. It looks like after 26 years, I'm asthmatic again. And so I have to learn how to manage my asthma, because when I was young, I had it was allergy-induced, exercise-induced, and when the cold weather comes. So I need to remember when I need to take meds and things like that. And it's just rough when you can't get your lungs straight. So just pray for me that God will heal me, and I'll use wisdom in how I handle my asthma once again. Amen? Mark 8:22 through 26. Y'all got it?
Yes, sir.
And they came to Bethsaida. Some people brought a blind man to him and begged him to touch him. He took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the village. And when he had put saliva on his eyes and laid his hands on him, he asked him, "Can you see anything?" And the man looked up and said, "I can see people, but they look like trees walking around." Then Jesus laid his hands on his eyes again, and he looked intently, and his sight was restored, and he saw everything clearly. Then he sent him away to his home, saying, "Do not even go into the village." Notice the man says, "I can see people, but they look like trees walking." How does he know what trees and people look like? Unless he may have had his sight at one time before. So this morning I want to preach from the title, "I Want It Back."
All right.
I want it back. Whatever you've lost, something you had before, just tell yourself, "I want it back."
I want it back.
I want it back. Amen. You can take your seat.
My God.
An author named Albert Camus says, "A man devoid of hope and conscience of being so has ceased to belong to the future." Again, a man devoid of hope, but yet conscious of being, so has ceased to belong to the future. Is there anybody here that has ever thought to themselves that I don't see myself in the future? Sometimes wonder if it's any use to continue to live, because my life really isn't living. There's something missing. There's something that I once had that I don't have. There's something about my life that perhaps seems incomplete and seems empty, because the reality is, to be conscious of being, yet to have no hope, would suggest that you don't have a future. You would never tell anybody that you don't have a future, but at times you may live like there is no future. We've all lost something, brothers and sisters, that has caused us to live in some ways as if life is handling us, as opposed to us having a hold on or handling life. Anybody with me in the building? You've just lost something in your life, and it always seems like life gets the best of you instead of you getting the best out of life. Mm-hmm. And when we lose those areas, wherever they are, they cause us to just drift and go wherever life takes us. Anybody ever live like they were just out of control, like they just had no control? They couldn't get a handle on life. Even though they made decisions, they were always the wrong decisions. Your thoughts didn't seem to line up where you told people you said you wanted to go. Am I the only one in the building? You almost just seemed like a drifter, and you may have not looked like a drifter to someone else, because it always looked like you had it together. Your appearance looked like you had it together. You talked like you had it together, but every once in a while, you go back to your quiet place and you got to reflect on the fact that I'm not where I'm supposed to be mentally. I'm not where I'm supposed to be emotionally. Sometimes you ask the question, what's wrong with me? Why do I think the way I think? Why do I do the things that I do? Why, after I just had all of this success, do I feel the way that I feel? Sometimes when you've lost something, and some of us don't remember what we've lost because we blocked that tragedy away. We've put it in a place. It's a secret. It would seem like it's a secret to others, but it's not a secret to us. We just don't know. Anybody ever been there?
Come on.
Still there now in the building. To be honest, that's why your 2017 won't be any different than your 2016, because if truth be told, you don't really see a future. You got to tell everybody what your 2017 is going to be, because everyone's declared, but you don't even believe what you declared. Because you realize something's missing. I'm trying to see, but I don't quite see it. I should be taking life by the horns, but life just manages to take me wherever it wants to go. I'm a ship. I ain't got no sail.
Jesus.
Wherever I end up, I try to maximize that part, but I can only maximize it but so much, because of whatever it is or whatever I'm feeling causes me to mess it up after a while, and soon I gotta drift somewhere else. Maybe you're a person in the room that you lost confidence, and so you always allow failure. Maybe something was done to you when you were small. Maybe your parents didn't tell you the right things. Maybe they didn't pump you up and promote you, and you lost confidence a long time ago. And as successful as you seem to be to people, you never really think that you're as good as you really are.
Come on.
People will tell you the nice things and the great things about you, but you won't believe it. You'll believe it for somebody else, but you won't believe it for yourself.
Yeah, you preach it.
Because you lost it a long time ago. And when you've lost confidence, brothers and sisters, you abuse yourself, always trying to do and trying to be the best.
That's right.
And wanting more, you'll almost kill yourself to try to be the best that you can be, and you'll never think that you're your best. Maybe you lost confidence along the way. Maybe you lost the ability to love. Maybe you're one of those individuals that feel like I feel like I was never really loved. Maybe you were that middle child, that bottom child, that I don't know, whatever it is. Maybe your parents didn't show you enough love. So much stuff happened to you. You're an adult and you wonder, am I really loved? You don't even know what love really is. You don't know how to receive love or how to give love. If real love ever came towards you, it is scary you because you're not used to it.
Jesus.
I lost love. I don't know what it means to love. I don't trust. And some of you are either married or you have a child and no one knows, but you find yourself having trouble even loving them because you don't know what love is like. You lost it, and you would think, because I got a spouse now and I got a child, this is my opportunity to show how to love. But how can you show what you don't know?
My Lord.
How can you show what you would declare you've never really experienced? You love with suspicion and apprehension to others, but you don't love yourself. Some of you have felt like you've lost your desire, your zeal. Some of us have lived those lives where it seems like you had disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, so much that you have no desire, you have no zeal, you have no expectation. You're very pessimistic. You just believe, I want that job and I want to go forward, but if I apply, they're going to hire somebody else.
Come on, preach it.
If I get the job, they may say I'm not good enough and I'm off. You feel me? You just lost that desire. You just walk out. So I'll just take what life gets me. I know I'm supposed to be in GS 14, but I'm going to just sit at this 9 because I just have no desire to move up in the world. Some of you have lost zeal in your relationships, passion in your relationships, because stuff that just seemed to go so bad. And you're at a point in your life where you're saying, I don't do relationships no more.
Come on.
I don't trust no more. I even though God created us for community, we get to the point where we feel, I don't need anybody anymore.
Come on.
And you're a doggone lie if you think that you don't need anybody. Because everybody needs somebody sometime. I don't need anyone anymore. Brothers and sisters, whenever you have lost to a great degree, you sometimes live like you lose.
Yes.
When you have a lot of loss to a great degree, you live like you lose. The losing person just accepts things as they come. The losing person makes losing decisions. You live under, you settle, you have a self-perception that is distorted. You're pessimistic. Sometimes you feel out of place. You feel like you're always trying to catch up in life, and sometimes you feel like you can never get ahead in life. It's just like, I've lost in these areas and I'm just a loser.
Come on.
You never feel like a winner. And I'm glad we sing the song Grateful, because God has given us many testimonies to prove that we've won. But when you've lost so much and you live like a loser, you would declare that I never win. I never get a good opportunity. I've never made it. I've never had what they had. I've always been beneath and not above, and you know that's a lie. But when you experience loss, it's almost like you live like you lose. And see, the hardest part of living without or absent of something you once had or needed is pressing forward. It's trying to get over it. It's trying to get back to that place, whatever that place is. It doesn't matter how many self-help books you get. It doesn't matter how many times you hear a sermon. It doesn't matter how many good people. The hardest part is just trying to get up. How do I press forward with this? I no longer have this in my life anymore. I don't feel love. I don't feel confidence. I don't have any zeal. I don't have any desire. How do you get up from that? Because if you could get up, you would have got up already.
Listen.
May not be every area, but everybody has some area where they ain't got up yet.
That's right.
Everybody has some lame area in their life where they're still crippled at it.
That's right.
It's lame, Pastor. It's messed up. It's dead because I was robbed in that area. I was hurt in that area. That was taken from me. How do you get up from that? And the truth is that your mind won't allow you to overcome it. It is as the mind goes, so does your body. So if your mind goes nowhere, neither do you. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, or so is she. You get to a point where you don't think those thoughts anymore. So you don't go anywhere, and you just go wherever life takes you. But you know what, brothers and sisters? I praise God because he has the power to restore us. He has the power to give us back what was taken from us. Whether we took it from ourselves, whether someone else took it, whether it was a tragedy that happened in our life, I praise God because he has the power. It can only be him. It can't be found in a man or woman. It can't be found in a bottle or whatever it is. It has to be God. God has the power to restore us, to bring us back. He can give you your joy back, your love back, your confidence back, your desires back, your health back, your peace back. God can give you your vision back. God has to be the one to do it, but the question is, do you want it back?
All right. How bad do you want it?
Sometimes you can live in dysfunction so long that dysfunction seems to be your new normal.
Come on.
Normal scares you. Fearful about normal. What is it like to live life and not be crippled? If you've been having crutches so long, it's hard to let go of the crutches when you realize the crutches have been holding you up. The question is, do you even want it back? Yeah, you know you want it back because you experience the symptoms all the time that show, I wish I had that once again. I wish I had my dignity once again. I wish I had my ability to be in a relationship once again. I wish I had my ability to love once again. I want it back. And you got to tell yourself early in this year, I want it back. Let me tell you why. Because there's things already happening now to disappoint you and set you back and make you feel like you used to feel, where you already feel this early in the year that I can't go forward. That's why you got to declare today, I want it back. I need it back. I can't finish the year unless I get this thing back. Whatever it is for you, fill in the blank. I can't go any further than today if I don't get it back. And you got to declare, I want it back.
My God.
Well, brothers and sisters, if he could give it back to this man in the text, I sure enough think that my God can give it back to me, right? That's what I love about reading the Bible and reading about people in the Bible. They're not special people. If God can do it for them, he can certainly do it for me. He ain't no respect of a person. It don't matter that I ain't blind. I got some blind spots. You know what I'm saying? I got some dead spots. And if God can restore him, I know he can restore anything in my situation. Give God some praise, brothers and sisters, because you're going to get it back. You're going to get it back. Jesus, this is the Gospel of Mark, and Jesus is doing what he does. Mark is one of those Gospels where you find Jesus working always. You'll find stuff like straightway and immediately. Jesus is always on the move in the book of Mark. He's healing the sick. He's casting out demons. Jesus is just literally on fire. Jesus wants you to know, I'm a workhorse. All the way up to the cross, I'm working. I'm doing exactly what I was called to do. So we find that in our text, Jesus, here he is about to put in some good work once again. And the Bible says that he enters into Bethsaida. Now, the beautiful thing about Bethsaida means house of hunting or house of fishing. House of hunting and house of fishing. Jesus goes there and he sees this man. It's almost as if Jesus was on the hunt for this man. Jesus was fishing for an opportunity to bless someone. And I know that doesn't shout you because you're thinking about the man in the text, but aren't you glad that Jesus was in the hunt for you? Yeah, Jesus found you right where you were. I don't care whether it was in a club, it was somebody's bed, it was out on the corner, doing whatever. Aren't you glad that Jesus was in the hunt for you? Aren't you glad that Jesus was fishing for you? He didn't just get disciples and send them out to go fish. Jesus fished for you so he could make you a disciple. And he pulled you from the worst place in your life, the most scarred place in your life, the hurt place in your life, whatever it was. I'm glad that Jesus was on the hunt for me. And truth be told, Jesus is still on the hunt for me. You ought to give God some praise. So Jesus is on the hunt. Jesus is fishing, and he found exactly what he wanted. Jesus, he's been active in ministry. And what I love about this miracle about seeing is caught in between two other miracles. He had just fed the 4,000, and those Pharisees, those religious leaders are still looking at him like, show us the sign. Just show us the sign. It's like, you ain't see that? Like, 2 fish, 5 loaves. Like, what y'all talking about? You ain't see that? And then on the other side of this miracle, Jesus is talking to the disciples that saw the feeding of the 4,000 and also saw this healing of the man. And he asked them, who do men say that I am? So on either side of this miracle, Jesus is trying to get them to see exactly who I am. And yet nestled right in between is this blind man who gets his vision back and he sees exactly who Jesus is. So, sometimes religious folks don't always see Jesus. You can be walking with Jesus and not seeing Jesus, but every now and then you ought to be humble enough to act like you got some blind spots here and there. Act like, bro, I don't quite see it, Lord. I ain't quite got it like that. And maybe you can see Jesus too.
Yeah, that's right.
So brothers and sisters, the man ultimately got his sight back. Because that's what he needed. That's what he wanted. He ultimately got his sight back. The question for you today, what is it that you want back? Go ahead, write the list, make the list mentally. What is it that you want back? What is it that you lost that you want back? That makes you feel empty, that makes you feel incomplete, that makes you ask yourself, what is wrong with me? Why do I make these decisions? Why do I act this way? Why do I feel this way? There's a reason behind all of that.
That's right.
Doesn't matter how much dirt you put over it to try to cover it up. It doesn't matter what closet and what boxes you try to put it away in. The reality is it's still affecting you and it's still affecting me. And we got to say, you know what? I want it back. I want it back. I want it back. Well, here, brothers and sisters, if you're going to get it back, you got to do 3 things. I'll let you go. You got to do 3 things. First of all, you got to allow Jesus to detach you from your context. Allow Jesus to detach you from your context, that setting, that scene, wherever place life has taken you, you got to allow Jesus to detach you from that. It's probably taking you to a mindset. May not be a physical place, but there's a mindset. You got to allow Jesus to detach you from that circumstance, that setting, the things that remind you of that event. Allow Jesus to detach you. Verse 22, they came to Bethsaida. Some people brought a blind man to him and begged him to touch him. He took the blind man by the hand and led him out of the village. They brought this blind man to Jesus. And I'm so glad about some faith-filled friends that won't mind bringing you and your condition to Jesus. Aren't y'all happy about that? Because see, they had handled him. Obviously, they had led him around before. They had handled him, but really it was only Jesus that could handle him. Y'all feel me? Yeah. They had handled him. They had messed around. They knew that he was blind and could take him here or there, but really it was only Jesus that could handle him in his issue. And so they brought this man to Jesus, and this man was able to get a healing through Jesus. And you may be saying to yourself, man, I'm here because somebody brought me to Jesus. See, it may not be a physical person, but all of us are probably here because somebody was praying for us that we would come to Jesus. And see, you can't get too high and mighty about your coming to Jesus and where you are and how you are, because it was probably somebody behind the scenes when you didn't want to go that didn't mind bringing you to Jesus in prayer. In fact, right now in your life, while you're still going through and struggling, there's somebody behind the scenes saying, Father, in the name of Jesus, I bring them in that problem before you, God. I see things in the spirit, God, that they don't know I see, God. I've heard their testimony, God, and I just want to bring them to you. And I want to shout today, and I'm thankful for people that don't know everything that goes on with me, but prays for me and brings me to Jesus. Because not only does this man need a touch, but I need a touch too. Hallelujah. Yes. Thank you, Jesus. So they bring the man to Jesus, and it was good that they brought the man to Jesus because many of us suffer in silence. Watch this.
That's good.
Michelle
Right
E. Goodrich in the book says there are far too many silent sufferers, not because they don't yearn to reach out, but because they've tried and found no one who cares. Not that they don't yearn to reach out, but they try, but they found that no one cares. And isn't it good that there were some people in the text that cares? And you know what? I pray that we'll always be a church that cares. Not just this church, but just, we got to get out of just looking at people's issue. We'll care about some issue, but if it's an issue that we're really, really against, even though sin is all on the same level, we want to act like we don't care. I don't care what the issue is. They all need to be brought to Jesus, and people are going to get delivered. Yeah, I know you don't like, she pregnant, she ain't had this. Yeah, he smell like this or whatever. You just need to pray and bring that to Jesus.
Good.
Because truth be told, only reason you're strong as you are because someone keep bringing you to Jesus. Because they suffering and you suffering too. They missing something and you missing something too. They got a void somewhere, you got a void somewhere too. They got a character flaw, you got a character flaw too. So I pray that we'll be a church that brings people to Jesus.
My Lord.
But once he got to Jesus, he had to want to be led out. Yeah. He allowed these people in his condition to lead him around, but he had to allow Jesus to lead him out. And it's hard to trust anyone, to include Jesus, when you've been affected by loss for so long.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm talking to believers in the room.
Real.
It's hard to trust anyone to include Jesus. See, at least if I tell you to trust me and I'm your friend and I got a good track record in your eyes, I'm visible. But when we're talking about Jesus, we've seen his work in our lives, but we ain't seen him. So think about it. While we say trust in God, I'll trust in the Lord. Gotta believe it, trust him and have faith. That ain't always the easiest thing to do when you've experienced such loss. Because you got to think about, what if I put my trust in him and I come back the same? What if I believe and have faith like the preacher says, and after year 1 and year 2, nothing's changed in my life? It's hard to trust when you've experienced loss for so long. But truth be told, brothers and sisters, the only person that's going to deliver you and give it back to you is going to be Jesus. And you're going to have to allow him to detach you from that situation. Lord, take me out of this mindset. Take me out of this circle of people. Take me out of this situation. I don't belong here. I am here, but I don't belong here. I'm not even sure how I got here, but it has to be Jesus to take you out.
Say it well.
Because if someone or something could take you out, you would have been out a long time ago. So it has to be none but Jesus.
Come on.
Yeah. Gotta let Jesus take you out. Sometimes we don't want to come out because of fear. Sometimes because of failure. Scared to come out. Relationship, what? Love? What is that? Confidence? I'm good down here. What kind of thinking is that? I'm good. You ever heard somebody say, I'm good right where I'm at? The devil is a lie. I'm fine right here. Now, I don't require too much. Look, I serve a God who will do exceedingly and abundantly more than you can ever ask for. So if you don't require too much, you might just get a little. But I require a whole lot, and I worship a God that can give me more than that.
Yes.
I'm fine. Oh, you fine? Okay. You look fine, but you ain't fine. Notice that Jesus was able to detach him from his circumstances, from his context. Jesus had to be the one to do it. And brothers and sisters, when Jesus is pulling you, you go.
Yeah.
When Jesus, look, and I want to help you out with this because I don't want it just seem, I know people, especially when I'm dealing with baby Christians, even seasoned Christians, what does that mean when he pulls you? What does that feel like? Is it an actual pulling? Is it my spirit? I don't know. He can use many methods. He might meet you in the word to pull you. He might send a close friend by you to give you a word or pull you out. Whatever it is, you need to recognize when it's Jesus. And if that's Jesus to you, then you go.
My Lord.
Maybe some advice from a Christian, an anointed one, someone more anointed than you that can tell you some mature Christian advice. That might be the Lord trying to pull you out. But when you hear him, you go.
Come on.
The man allowed Jesus to detach him. Brothers and sisters, God knows that it's his job to bring you out, but you got to give it to him. Jesus knew why he was there. I'm here to go fishing. I'm trying to help somebody. Guess what? Jesus is still fishing.
Yes.
In fact, he's in this place. He's going up and down each road. He's trying to see who's going to bite. The bait's already in there. You know what the bait is? When you think about all the stuff that you already got enough bait to tell you, look, I need to come to Jesus. He's fishing right now. Y'all ain't feeling it yet. Jesus is in this room right now, going up and down. He's fishing and trying to see who's going to bite. He's like, if I can pull one in, I'm going to bless them, but they got to bite first. They got to want this bad enough. They got to praise me hard enough. They got to have enough faith. Jesus is in the room, ladies and gentlemen, and he's trying to figure out who might get some today. And you can let this day go by and not get it, but I'm trying to get mine. Look, I might nudge you out the way and get yours too. Jesus is in the room trying to, man, he took my blessing. Okay.
You ain't want it.
You little Scooby-Doo. Oh, no. Yo. The man couldn't see, but he still went. He couldn't see, but he allowed life and people to take him all over the place. Mm-hmm. Don't let Jesus come on the scene and all of a sudden, now you want to try to kick your senses in and where I'm going and what I'm doing. And when you couldn't see, you just went anywhere. While you still can't see, you need to go with Jesus.
Come on.
Don't start bucking up when Jesus comes around all of a sudden. Well, you know, nah. Man was like, you could tell in his attitude he wanted it back. There was no fight. There was no struggle. I need to get my sight back. You have to allow Jesus to detach you from your context. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
Let me give you another one. You got to allow Jesus to deliver you from your condition. He's detaching you for a reason. He's detaching you because he wants to deliver you. He got to bring you away from that. He's got to bring you out of that mindset. He's got to bring you out that circumstance. He's got to bring you out from around those people. He needs the airways to be clear for him to do what he's going to do. Why can't he just deliver me right here? Because that ain't worked for you before. Let him bring you out. Allow Jesus to deliver you from your condition. And when he had put saliva on his eyes and laid his hands on him, he asked him, can you see anything? You hard to see with saliva in your eyes. And I don't know if he hawk spit or if he just like licked his hand or if he just like let it trickle down. Like, I don't know. We got to try to get a picture. And we in the Bible, right? We can make it say whatever you want. I believe that Jesus was working so hard and walking around so much, he had built up a lot of phlegm, and I just believe he was like, and just gave it to him. Is that what y'all believe too? Amen. Come roll with your pastor. He had asthma. And the man looked up and said, look, as he looked through the phlegm, he said, I can see people, but they look like trees walking. Then Jesus laid his hands on his eyes again. Yeah, I guess he had to do that again. Like, one spit ain't enough. Then Jesus laid his hands on his eyes again. And I'm going to be calling people up to the altar after church. And just don't ask me how I'm going to do it. Just take it. Accept it. He's doing it with style. All right, look. And he laid his hands on his eyes again. And he looked intently, and his sight was restored, and he saw everything clearly. Did I say you got to allow Jesus to deliver you from your condition? Excuse my comedy show. Look, y'all got to pay for that next time. Look. So, Jesus wants to deliver you, brothers and sisters, but you got to allow him. And so let me tell you what I like about this miracle. Jesus so wants you to trust him when he gives it back to you and he heals you. He's willing to use a method that you're familiar with. Because when you ain't seen in a while, when you have lost and you don't trust well, the best thing the Father could do is send a miracle your way, do something your way to where you can trust in it. You can know that it's him. Jesus is so good. Let me tell you about this spit thing, this saliva thing. Back in those days, they thought they used saliva for medicinal purposes. They believed that there was something in the spit that when you use it on certain ailments, that it was a type of medicine. So obviously, when Jesus did it, it didn't offend the man. The man was thinking like, all right, this is what a priest or somebody else would do, so I'm going to allow Jesus to do it. So Jesus does something to the man that's totally familiar with him because he's trying to build his trust in the master. I want my blessing to just fall out the sky. I just want it to come from, where do you want it to come from? Right? I just wanted to appear. No, Jesus has to do something that you are familiar with. Brothers and sisters, maybe church is a place where you're familiar with, and Jesus is trying to use, while you're trying to avoid church, he keeps using your pastor to bring the very word for you, and you don't show up on that Sunday, but it's for you. At least you're familiar with church. You ain't going to go see a psychologist or psychiatrist. You don't want to talk to none of your friends, but at least come to the place where you're familiar with, because you might find that God has a miracle waiting for you. Oh, I'm just sick. I'm just going to believe God. No, you need to go to the doctors. You're familiar with the doctors. You're familiar with that medication. It's worked for you before. It doesn't mean that you're always going to be on it, but you're familiar with it. Take the medication and pray for healing at the same time. And watch God work through that till you get to a point where you say, I don't need these anymore. God has healed me totally in my body. He used something that this man was familiar with. I like Jesus for that. Maybe it's prayer. I get it. Some of us are unfamiliar with prayer.
Walk heavy.
Only pray when something's wrong.
Listen.
Jesus trying to show you a miracle through prayer, and he up there in heaven thinking like, if they just pray, I'd show them. You ain't seen it yet because you refuse to pray. And you only pray in the bad times, and he's even showing it to you in the bad time because that's the only time you pray. You're so focused on what you're going through, you don't see what God has brought you out of. That's
You preach it.
That's why you got to get familiar with prayer, because Jesus is trying to do a miracle even through prayer.
My Lord.
God can use anything, but you got to allow him to do it. So he puts a spit on a man's eye. The man says that he could see people like trees walking around. You got to allow Jesus to deliver you from conditions. He sees you. You got to allow Jesus to take the time to do what he needs to do. Now, this miracle was different because every other miracle Jesus had, right away, people were healed. But it's something different about this miracle because it was a progressive thing. And that helps me even think about our own life as believers. We're healed in totality. We're delivered in totality. But yet it's a progressive thing. We walk out our healing. We walk out of our deliverance. We walk out our sanctification. In totality, it's done in the work on the cross when we say yes, but it's still progressive. So Jesus shows us here, look, this man had to allow him to do it. And notice, even though he saw people like trees, the man didn't say, I'm good. Thanks, Jesus. I'm out. I'm a roll. Because that's what he could have done. That's what some of us might even do. He says, I see men as trees like walking around. That word see here is like I perceive. He doesn't see real good. I discern this thing. That the men walking around like trees, but since he couldn't see totally clear, he could have been discerning wrong. He could have perceived wrong. And when you don't allow God to continue to do what he needs to do in your life, you may discern or you may perceive wrong. See, we're reading the text, and this is what the man says. I see people walking around like trees, but he could have been perceiving or discerning it wrong. If you look it up, it goes to show that maybe he's not seeing everything clear. You got to allow Jesus to heal you of your condition, and don't accept, well, this was done and that was done, I'm good. No. Because as you live, the proof is going to be in the pudding. You're going to realize, you know what? I need another touch. I need another touch. So guess what? He stands around and Jesus touches him once again. And this time the word see is on. Those are trees. Those are men. Those are flowers. Oh, and you, Jesus, right there. Look, you got to let God do what he going to do in your life. And you know what I love about God? All of us need a second touch, for real, for real. I'm sorry, a third touch, fourth touch, fifth touch. Y'all more holy than me. I'm on my 1 billionth touch. Because I got the first touch when I said yes, but my life is a little crazy. I think crazy, do crazy stuff. The Holy Spirit touches me on a regular basis. Look, and I hang around to get the touch. And all of us need a touch, and another touch. Look at your neighbor and say, reach out and touch someone.
Touch it.
Because it's progressive. It is progressive. Think about it. I love Jesus. I confess in my mouth, believe in my heart. And you got 5-10 years of just struggling craziness. That's because you were delivered. But if you're going to walk out your deliverance, you need more touches. Because your first touch, you perceived and you discern, I'm good, I'm good to go. But your eyes don't start turning on real good to after those touches. Yeah. And it's progressive over the years. You know, you get a little wisdom as you start living. You still go do what you're supposed to do, but 10 years later you realize, you know what, that don't work for me. Because it's living and getting touched. Living and getting touched. Living and getting touched. That does it for you. You got to allow Jesus to deliver you from your condition. Everybody all right with this? Can I go to the man? He can see. He's good. He can see. He's got it back. Jesus has to close the loop on this because I've attached you and I've delivered you. But the last thing here, you got to allow Jesus to direct you towards your complete healing. I've detached you. I've delivered you, but now you need my direction. Because it'd be bad to get delivered and not get no direction.
My Lord.
It'd be bad to get delivered and go back to the thing that had you bound. Can I get a witness in the building?
Come on.
Look what he says in verse 26. Y'all in your Bible? I don't have no points unless I use my Bible. Look. Then he sent him away to his home, saying, do not go even into the village. Now, at the beginning of the story, the people led the man out of the village. Jesus says he sent him away to his home, which means a home wasn't his village. The village was the place where he ended up because he's blind. And when you're blind, when you've lost something, you just go wherever life takes you. Who in here is in a place where life just took you? You just landed there, but it ain't home for you.
Come on. Come on.
Mentally, it ain't home for you. And mentally, emotionally, it's not home for you. Even when you stand in the mirror and get yourself ready for work, have you ever said, I don't feel at home in my spirit? Have your house decorated nice? I just don't feel at home. All the comforts aren't there. Something's not right. God allowed Jesus to direct you. Jesus sent him home. Brothers and sisters, Jesus gave him a word. He says, go home. Your complete healing is abiding in whatever word God speaks to you. Because he's going to detach you and he's going to deliver you, but he's going to give you a word at the same time. Jesus may tell you to leave someplace or someone. Jesus' word may be like, now go forgive. Go back and accept my love. Go be confident again.
My God.
Go get your desire back. That thing that was dead, it's up. Go back and see about it. Jesus is going to give you a word to direct you. Because the man couldn't go back to the village because the village wasn't home. Now I'm glad he sent the man home, because when the man was in the village and he couldn't see, people handled him a certain way. If the man goes back to the village, people may still handle him the way that they used to, but yet he can see now. And that may be problematic for the man, especially when you're trying to walk into your newness and people still trying to treat you. I'm preaching good, ain't I? You preach in your oldness, so you can't go back to the village because the way they talked to you and treated you, the way you handled things, the way your circumstances were. I don't need you to have a reminder of these things anymore. I need you to go home. I need you to go to a safe place, a secure place. Wherever my word is leading you, that's where you need to go.
Listen.
And if you want it back and you got it back, brothers and sisters, you need to go home.
Amen.
Don't go back to the place and look what happened to me. Nah, they might pull you in.
That's
That
right.
situation might pull you in. That trauma might pull you in. Jesus says you got to go home. Go home to where your love is, where your peace is, where that relationship is. Go back to that church. Go back to that joy. You got to allow Jesus to direct you towards your complete healing. And we walk in the completeness of our healing. Remember, I say it's progressive as we make our journey back home. Our journey back home is a place of wholeness. Our journey back home is a place of peace and completeness. That's where God wants to take us to. And the reality is, all of us are on a journey. Our life is so funny because we're on a journey where we're trying to be progressive in life, in our careers and in our relationships. But on the inside, we're on a journey trying to get back home.
Yes.
Y'all feel me?
Yes.
You're out there trying to get the best of what life has for you. But if you can be honest, on the inside, you're just trying to go home. Because you realize in here and in here, if I could go home, I could be so much better in what I'm trying to pursue out here. Y'all feel
My
me?
Lord.
Everybody just wants to go home. And God wants to give you back whatever you lost. Whatever was taken from you. Traumatically. Just from living.
Hallelujah.
Felt like, why did it go down this way? Why do I feel the way I feel? Jesus has the power to give it back to you if you allow him. You're going to have to allow him to take you out. You're going to have to allow him to treat you in his way, his method, whatever he desires to do. And when he does it, he's going to send you home. I don't know about you. I know it's a cliche, this song, there's no place like home. Where I feel my best and complete. And see, the reason why we got to preach messages like this, because some church folks with a lot of zeal and in a very unbalanced, which just make you think, I'm good all the time. I feel blessed and highly favored all the time. I'm complete. That ain't life. That ain't true. You don't. You can say it, but you don't. You feel lost. You feel uneasy. You feel like stuff ain't working out. You feel like it's too hard. You feel like something's missing. Can you imagine having a whole family around you, God bless you with, and you still feel like something's missing?
Jesus.
That's because it's not what's missing around you. God wants to give it back. He loves you. And on this day, as he was hunting and fishing for that blind man, he's hunting and fishing for you.
Jesus.
God says, you got enough bait. You know my goodness. You know my kindness. You've got my grace. You've seen my favor. Who's going to bite today? Because you got to want this. Who's going to come? Who's going to bite today? Because whoever bites, whoever allows me to take hold of them, I'm going to do for them what they've been wanting to be done for a long time.
Hallelujah.
They tried the other methods, tried other things, they worried about it, got frustrated about it. But if they bite today, I'm willing to give it back. I feel it.
Glory to God.
I feel it. If they bite today, if they release their faith today, if they unlock that door where it is today and expose it today, in my presence, as an act of faith and submission unto me, trusting me for everything, the same way they trusted the world to cure it. God says, when I bring them in, I'm treating them and I'm sending them home. Father, we pray for everyone in the room
My God.
that has lost something along the way. We didn't ask for it, it just happened. And the expressions of how we live show that we're affected by what we lost. We don't want to dress it up anymore. We don't want to just say, I don't want to deal with it. We don't want to just say, I'm good, I'm all right. We want you to heal us and bring it back. We want you to restore us today. As the altar workers will come, I want to open up the altar today. I really do. As I'm feeling it in the room, and you feel this altar if you need to. It's not a mystical place. Jesus is in this house fishing. He's on the hunt for you. You're not here by chance today. You're here today because he knew you would be here. Jesus is in the hunt for you, whoever you are. And he sees your loss. He sees your concern. He sees your issue. If you're here today and you're saying, I want it back, whatever it is, and you want to get anointed, just hands laid on you, just confirmation if you hear it, the same way Jesus laid his hands on that man. I don't have any power within me. I'm not even going to say any long prayer. I just want to touch and agree with you symbolically by anointing your head and just laying my hands on your head. If you're here today and you're saying, I want it back, come fill this altar, please. Just say, I want it back. I need it back. I can't live like this anymore. This isn't real living. I know I'm a winner, but I'm losing. If that's you, don't just sit around in your seat. Coming out of your seat is an act of faith. The same way this man left for Jesus. You leaving your seat is like him leaving his circumstance, leaving his context, saying, I need God to help me with this. I need help. You here today? Come on, y'all. Don't fake. If you need it back, come get it. I want it back. I want it back. I'm tired. I want it back. I'm tired of trying to cope with it. I'm tired of making plans for my dysfunction. I want it back. Come on, I want it back. Come on, if you need to come, come. Don't look at the altar and think, oh, there's space for you, come. If you're in here and you know how to pray, you got to come pray with somebody. You don't have to have a title. Let's go. I want it back. I want it back.